The Case of the Derelict Daughter. 6. Back on the case. I was a no-good orphan, a lost boy with little in the way of imagination as to what could have been, silently praying in the dark in the early morning hours that there was someone out there that cared about me. And then, as a teenager, allowed by a simple pilot program, I was allowed to attend public school and found her. The one person that gave a shit, no matter what anybody said. I'd went over the old sheriff, and I had for a time. And then, on the verge of our wedding, I'd just earned my detective's badge, and she'd been slaughtered, flayed, and blood-soaked the entire main room of our home. I watched as a bullet, a steel-jacketed round about the size of my thumb, enter the man who claimed to be my father's head. I watched in slow motion as the room turned into a cross between an Ang Lee film and something out of Lord of the Rings. Power. Something I'd never seen or known before. I'm just a goddamn private detective after all. A gumshoe was watching a comic book shit come alive before me. A blue glow appeared in front of my vision as Dragomir of all people stood holding his hand in front of me. Some sort of Star Trek-like shield in front of us. Not to be outdone, oh no. That fucking dame wasn't abroad at all, but shifted, her form changing and melting into itself as she became a white fox with sharp canines and 9 tails. And the bastard, the murderer who claimed to be my father, the man I'd put almost 20 grams of lead into, stood with a sly smile upon his face, the whole, no shit, filling itself in as if he were instantly regenerating. All right now, I said, my eyes wide. That just ain't right. What's the con? It is Cain, not just your father, but the Cain of legend, the mythical evil, Kit said, her canine mouth moving as if it were nothing. He has lied to feed upon his spawn, and he is a vampire. This one would suggest you kill it. I pulled the hammer back again as the voice of Cain filled the room. Take care of your mother first, my son. Then we will speak. And then he, burst into smoke. Nothing but smoke, and was gone. I turned to the Russian, the hammer still cocked. What the fuck was that? And you better not lie to me, you cocksucking KGB son of a bitch. Sam and the old sheriff rushed into the room, not bothering to open the door, taking it off of its hinges as they forced their way in, both their guns out at low ready. I was holding the gun on Dragomir, so I get it that it didn't look good. But hell, drop it, old Jensen yelled when he saw me and then fired. He damn well knew he hadn't given me enough time to comply, but he didn't really care, and I knew it. A blue shimmering like a rock hitting the surface of a pond hit the blue shield, and it stopped. Just stopped the bullet, like it was stuck in midair. Talk, I said again, and let the hammer back down on the gun slowly, and then laid it on the table. Dragomir just nodded and sat. His eyes looked hollow, anxious, like he didn't understand himself what had just happened. I was starting to think that the damn cocoa was poisoned with DMT or some shit. The old Russian sat staring off into space. I was told something that is not true, apparently. And I can only tell you what I know. I grunted and looked at Moretti. He grunted. Let me just take your sister and the sheriff out here outside. This ain't none of our business. You know how, just because I'm gay doesn't mean you have to keep calling me his sister all the time. It really doesn't matter to me, you know, Samuel Dean told the Fed. Shock appeared on Moretti's face for a moment, and then he hustled him out. Where'd that strange dog come from? The sheriff asked as they left. I was told that the line of Cain was dedicated to eradicating monsters that were spawned by the curse. Hearing, not hearing, but feeling something strange, I jerked my head around to where the fox had sat and found Kitty, sitting in her dress demurely as if nothing had changed. "I'll get to you," I growled at her and placed my hand back on the .45, still hot. The broad actually smirked at me. "This one will tell you, oh, always has he been the king who killed Enoch, his first son, all the way until today. It is he who has been spawning monsters, and his goal is to rival that of hell, hence why your mother was sent." This was stupid, and not reality. I picked up the gun. "And now, you both tell me the truth." Dragomir placed his hand on the gun and pushed it down gently. "There is a world, another world, filled with monsters and evil and darkness. A world of predator and prey that humans refuse to see, cannot see." "This sounds like you're about to tell me I'm a wizard and I have to go to Hogwarts," I scoffed. "What the hell is wrong with you? We live in reality." "This one thinks my Jackson Kane must have some time. His mind cannot accept." She trailed off as I glared at her. "Doll, you're hot. You're everything that makes a man stand at attention, if you know what I mean. But ain't no dame I belong to," I said, standing up. "I'm going to Wolf Pass, old Salem, Texas, and we'll see what we see," I told them and went out to gather my backup. Feeling angry and needing an outlet, I stalked out the house. It didn't help that I didn't have a goddamn door to bang shut. But you can't have everything, I guess. "Sam," I said and walked over to the Bronco, leaving the sheriff and the Fed talking about dogs of all things. "Just let me know what's up," Sam said, placing a hand on my shoulder. I eyed his hand if it shouldn't be there for any reason, and for him to place it on my shoulder, and he growled. "What? Gay?" I asked. He snickered. "Well, it'll let me fuck with Moretti some more. Really get to him, you know. Ask him out on a date and shit." I just shook my head. "We're going to the pass," I told him. "If you can get me some legal justification for it." I nodded at the sheriff. "He seems really concerned. Have him help." Sam nodded. "And then we go and find out what this cult or group or whatever the hell it is," I sighed heavily. "Even it could be a coven, I suppose. Anything's possible now." "What if your mother is there? This one thinks it's not a good idea." Kitty's voice came out of the darkness. "Then I'll deal with that too." Forcing down the surprise, the broad had startled the hell out of me after all. "You coming? Now why the hell did I ask her that?" I shook my head. "Jackson, son of Cain. I will have..." She eyed me with an arched eyebrow. "Your backside." She was smirking and walked out of the darkness. "As will I," Dragomir said from the porch. I lit the cigar. "Well, let's free some hostages or kill some bad guys or what the hell ever's going on." I stood, straightened my fedora and said, "It's time for me to get back on the case."